I'm Connie Schrader, Mayor of the City of Bastrop.
And I'm TJ Johnson-Finn. I'm the Director of the Bastrop County Business Owners Association. This is Season 3, Episode 2. We have some really interesting guests today.
We are taking care of the environment and each other today. We've got Troy Walters with the Bastrop County Hazardous Waste.
Absolutely. And then Jenni Ritchie with
Bastrop County Animal Shelter Helpers. Yes.
So we've got some interesting people today that we're going to meet, people who are doing something to improve life in Bastrop County.
Let's get to it.
Yes.
We're with Troy Walters with Bastrop County, and we're going to talk about a really important day coming up.
Yes, we are. September the 18th, we're doing a Household Hazardous Waste Collection event. It will be in Smithville. It's for all of Bastrop citizens in the county, including the cities. Nice. They're all welcome to bring all their household goods that they need to get rid of. Some of the things that we're going to be collecting are pesticides, aerosol spray paint cans that you haven't used, you got half a gallon left over,
Nice.
Chemicals, pool chemicals, aerosols, Drano.
Time to clean out those garages and closets and
Absolutely. And those are the very things that Troy's talking about, are the things that we don't want to end up in the river. We don't want them to be in
Absolutely.
the landfills where we don't know where that stuff is. So please don't dump paint in your trash can. None of the waste collection companies, whether you're in the city or the county, it's really not what you're supposed to be doing. Let's take care of the environment.
That's correct.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So one of my favorite things about this event is they collect all of the paint and swirl it all together, and we call it Bastrop Beige.
Oh,
Yep, and we give it away. You can paint your shed.
So if you need a
garage.
primer, if you're trying to cover a dark color, you can use it as a primer, or it's a great thing to put on a shed or a garage or something like that. But I love thinking about Bastrop Beige.
Absolutely.
I love that. Where do they pick that up
At the event, we
At the event
collect
itself?
it. We will collect it that weekend, and then we'll mix it up that weekend,
Oh.
and then we'll open up the doors, and you can come out and pick it up.
That's really interesting. I can think of all kind of things I could paint.
The other thing that we do is with the household chemicals that we collect, we'll put them in a reuse center, so you can go in there and select any of the stains, chemicals, your lime away, whatever chemicals that are still usable. We'll put them in a reuse cabinet and have them up there on the shelf, and you can pick them up.
Wow, that's great.
It really is neighbors helping neighbors, and meanwhile protecting the environment. I mean, talk about your win-win.
Absolutely.
You can't go wrong with that. And so is this available for all of Bastrop County?
All of Bastrop County.
Now, do they need a voucher?
They do need to pre-register, so we know how many people are coming, what kind of chemicals you're bringing. So there's a little checklist. It's online, and they can check out what they're bringing. It's their name and address.
And tell us the website. Where do they go to
Well,
find
they
that?
can go to co.bastrop.tx.us.
Don't worry,
We'll
TJ,
tick
you're
it
going to
along
put a
the
little
bottom.
ticker on for us, right?
And each city will have it on their website as well. So you don't have to drive down and pick up a voucher. You can register online and email the coordinator. And then
Perfect.
so far, which we've opened this up about a week ago, we're at half the registration we were last year, which was 24 months ago that we did an event before pre-COVID. So we're on track to maybe top that number.
That's great. Probably why is people have sat at home so much. They've worked on so many things. So they gathered up all these chemicals and, things that they do need to a place to get rid of. So
Yep.
that's great.
So if you can protect the environment, help a neighbor, and clean out your own place, it's a fantastic event. I'm so glad that we're part of
Win-win.
sponsoring it.
Absolutely. And so where do they go to?
Well, the event will be at 104 Taylor Street in Smithville.
Nice.
And there's a map online. You can find it, Google it.
Perfect.
On Waze, it'll get you there. The event's from 9 to noon, Saturday.
Nice.
And if you want to volunteer, we'd like to hear from you too.
Oh, they need volunteers, guys. You hear that? You need to come out and help with this. Great. Like Connie said, helping the environment, helping your neighbors. I mean, how do you go wrong with that?
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for coming by, Troy. It's great to see you again.
Thank you for having me. I
Thank
appreciate it.
you.
Thank you.
The BCBOA presents Mystery Lunches, a fun and exciting way to expand your network. You get to choose the time and the date but we do the rest. You won't know where you're going until you get the email the day before, and you won't know who you're having lunch with until you show up. It could be one person, it could be multiple people. That's all in the mystery. Be sure to get your tickets now. Space is limited. Go to www.thebcboa.com and uncover your mystery. We're here with Jenni Ritchie. And Jenni, you have quite a little friend here. What is your friend's name?
Her name is Habibi. She's a German Shepherd, and she came from the Bastrop County Animal Shelter.
That's wonderful. And so you are with, say it again, friend?
Bastrop County Animal Shelter helpers.
Helpers.
And
Tell us a little bit about what you do.
well, we started in 2019 because the shelter, although they have a little bit of veterinary help, they don't have a full-time vet. And they get a lot of animals in that are injured in some way, that need some kind of diagnostics at the vet, or they need immediate emergency medical care. The county can't afford to pay for all that. So we started up to be able to provide that kind of medical care to the animals, to fund it. So we raised money for that. And since then, in May 2020, we got a grant, and we've been able to also start a spay-neuter funding program. So we have subsidized spay-neuter services available for people with low incomes. That became very popular during the pandemic, especially with people losing their jobs. We didn't want to contribute to the overpopulation of animals in Bastrop County, so this is one way we can help with that.
That's amazing. And so, how would you get those services if you needed a spay and neutering?
Well, we have a website which handles most of what we do, and anyone can go there. It's www.bcashelpers.com. And we have an online application form, so that was also helpful during the pandemic. Nobody had to come in. We can do it all over the phone, and then we can call in for the services. Most of our spays and neuters are done with Save an Angel, which is another charity.
It's a great charity.
Yes, and they have a clinic there right at the shelter. So the other great thing is that people in Bastrop County are able to get the services in Bastrop County.
You know, TJ, as Bastrop County grows, unfortunately, we have not everybody that comes into the county are responsible pet owners, and the animal shelter is just overwhelmed. I heard just this morning that there were animals that people just drop them off at the front door after hours. Any education that can be done to help people be responsible animal owners, and particularly with the spay and neutering, is a way to try to get some control over that. And it's if you're an animal lover, it's easy to volunteer. Right. You may not be an animal fan, but you are interested in where your tax dollars are going. And so that is a way that it truly impacts all of us, because if you're dumping animals at the shelter, they don't just magically get taken care of, but they have to be taken care of. So it's just wonderful that the organization that you founded, and that they have the opportunity to get the spay and neutering. That's great.
Yes, and we also provide other resources that the shelter has needed. So we've bought washers and dryers and autoclaves, other medical equipment. So all sorts of things that people contribute for. So we've had some really great support in Bastrop County, people donating to us to help us do this work. We want to make sure we thank them. We've also got a need for volunteers. So of course, so if anybody would like to volunteer to help the animals, but you don't want to go all the way and go into the shelter, which also needs volunteers, but some people are a little tenderhearted, or they just can't make it to the shelter when the shelter needs them. We have jobs that you can do at home to help us to do our work.
Oh, wow. That's great.
There really is a spot for everybody.
Yes, there is. We need people to help administrate our programs and plan events and write grants and do publicity for us, work with local businesses to get contributions. So there's a lot of things people can do.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. I tell you, so I'm that tender-hearted person, and I always said I'm not an animal person. Not that I don't love animals. It's just that they're a lot of work, and I have 8 children, so I've had every manner and means of animal that you can imagine, and I'm always the one that gets stuck taking care of them. Speaking about responsibility, but I did a photo shoot for the Bastrop Animal Shelter, and almost about 3 years ago, I guess. And there was this little puppy, and it was up for adoption, and guess where it came? And her name is Pixel, and we named her. She was our studio dog for Bastrop Photography, so her name's Pixel. And but I get that of people that's like, I can't go in there because I'm going to come home with every pet. My son has a ton of dogs, and they're all babied like they're children. But every time he goes near an animal shelter, he comes home with another dog. So some people, it's hard. It's really heartbreaking to see these animals, and this is something people can do, like you said, from the comfort of their home.
Yes.
You know, and it doesn't take a lot of time to do that. So if you want to volunteer, how would they contact you?
Our trusty website, www.bcashelpers.org. And I also need to say that although I have my shirt on and I'm saying that website name, that we are actually changing our name this month. And this has been in the works for a while. But when we first started, we worked with the shelter to come up with this name and thought it would be great because it ties us to the shelter, but it also confuses the heck out of people because they can't tell us apart. So we are going to be becoming Shelter Pet Safety Net. That's our new name. So you'll hear about us with that, and you'll start to see our logos and things change. But everything else is the same. We still work very tightly with the shelter and work to get the dogs and cats spayed and neutered in Bastrop County.
Perfect. And so tell me, what brought you to this? You know, what's your story?
I've actually been an animal shelter volunteer for over 20 years, and I've been a foster parent for many, many, many dogs and cats, mostly in Houston. And then when I moved to Bastrop County about 4 years ago, I ended up, of course, I lived near the animal shelter and had to stop in. So that's how I got involved.
So you've been here in Bastrop 4 years.
Yes.
I've been here, almost 4 years myself. And matter of fact, I think it is 4 years now. I lost everything in Hurricane Harvey, and I moved to Bastrop, and I absolutely fell in love with not just the town, but with the people that are here. And it's an amazing, amazing place. So with that being said, I'm sure many, many, many of you will volunteer to help this nice lady, because that's what we do in Bastrop. And this is just, I'm so glad that you came on.
Well, thank you.
And no, thank you for what you do to help the community, because this is a big deal. Little folks like this need all the help they can get.
Yes, and we have a wonderful board. You know, we have local folks that really care, and a wonderful webmaster that's in the county. So we really have some good engagement, and we think people enjoy working with us.
Do you have any events coming up before the end of the year? Like, I know you said something about events.
Yes, we have. We're going to have a booth at the Hog Eye Festival in Elgin.
Oh,
so
good.
come out and see us there. We'll have some things to buy, and we'll be giving away some spay neuter services. So stop on by with that. We're trying to get some more events going. It's just been difficult with the pandemic, you know,
Absolutely,
caring about people's health. So we don't want to do anything where people are congregating too much, but we'll get that going again before too long. So
Absolutely.
But the animals' needs don't go away during the
Exactly.
pandemic.
No.
So
No.
and I wanted to comment, TJ, that I'm so glad that you recognize that there's a number of animals you can take care of, and then above that you can't take care of them.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's important for people to realize the commitment, and if you're not ready to make the full-time commitment, fostering or volunteering for an organization like yours can be a perfect match.
Exactly. And we help the foster homes too. We do help with food and supplies for them for the shelters. So
Excellent.
I wonder how many people know that you can foster. So I did Great Pyrenees foster. And they're massive. I don't know if I knew what I was getting into, but I absolutely loved it. And so just like foster care for children, you're keeping the pet for just a temporary amount of time until forever home can be found, correct?
Yes, that's right.
That's great. And they can also find out how to do that on your website as well?
The foster programs run through the county shelter, so Bastrop County Animal Services, and we supplement their program by helping to get supplies to the foster homes.
Well, that's great. Well, thank you so much.
You're
for coming
welcome.
on the
Thanks
show.
for having me. I really appreciate it.
Make sure you go to Hog Eye Festival and look them up.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Well, that's it. We've got episode 2 in the books, Connie.
I'm so glad that we have an opportunity to know how to take care of those things that you think, what am I going to do with this leftover paint? Now we know it can turn into Bastrop Beige.
Absolutely. I'm so tickled over that. I just can't even, I want to paint everything now.
Well, and everybody likes animals, and we learned that even if you are not a big animal fan, you should have an interest in taking care of them.
Absolutely, absolutely. And they're in ways that you can help the animal shelter without ever going to the animal shelter.
If you want to help, they have a job for you.
Absolutely. So I want to say something before we close today, something special. So many of our fans know that my daughter Tiffany passed away on June 15th from stage 4 melanoma cancer at only 27 years old. And I want to say thank you to Pam Whitaker, who's one of our locals, who's absolutely amazing, who took my daughter's clothing and made myself and my grandson a bear, and then made my grandson a baby bear out of his baby clothes. And she made this incredible quilt that is just beautiful. It is amazing. And Connie, she even put the Wienermobile on the quilt. Because as many of you know, the guys with Corvette Invasion set up, so Liam gave an award out in the name of his mom. And then he got to ride the Wienermobile around the Circuit of America's track, which was a big deal to him.
And Liam was Tiffany's
4-year-old
son.
Yes.
I wanted to make sure everybody knew who Liam
Oh,
was.
absolutely, yes. And Liam now lives with me and his pawpaw. And I am just really excited about this beautiful quilt. So this
Turn
side,
it around.
this side has Liam's baby clothes, and it says Toodles wherever you are, because every night I read to Liam a book called Wherever You Are from his mommy. And the other side has mommy's clothes, and it says in memory of Tiffany Marie Johnson, 5/6/94 to 6/15/21. And down here, and these are her actual clothes, and down here it says, these are the clothes I used to wear. Hold them tight and feel me near. As I watch over you every day, I try to leave signs that I'm not far away, always and forever. Pam Whitaker, thank you. This means the world to me, and I know it will mean the world to Liam. And, you know, Debbie Denny is the one who reached out to Pam and told her about my daughter passing. And I just want to say how amazing the people in this community are, and how appreciative I am for the love that everyone has shown me through this tragic time in our lives. So thank you, Pam. And thank you, Connie.
Thank you, TJ. Bastrop loves you very much.
Well, I love you, and I love Bastrop very much.